Dr. Singhvi, let's be clear that while you keep insisting that there is no case to be made, the IT has sent notices. The trial court has taken cognizance of the IT department probe itself. Now the ED is backing it, they claim, with a money laundering probe, which eventually will go before the court. My point is, all these points that you are making today to me in the studio, presumably you will make before the ED and the court. Are you saying that over these 8-10 years, all of this is being created only as a distraction, only to distract from inflation? Surely the government doesn't need to do this to distract from inflation and from the other problems of the economy.
Look, Rajdeep, I made several points, none of which I'm going to repeat.
Yes.
I don't think any of my points have been answered, even though I was not supposed to be here for a rejoinder. I stayed on because you said not a single point which is factual, pointed, political and legal has been answered. Number three, of course, Mukul Roy was a very delicious example. In a matter of fact, the facts show that Mukul Roy's entire harassment problem ceased the moment he went through the whitewashing machine, which is known as the BJP. That's a well-known fact. Number four, you must know that 8 hours before now, I said at a press conference that even if Mrs. Sonia Gandhi is stopped forcefully, she will still go to the ED on 8th. So where is the question of running away? Where is the question of not going and telling all these things as it is? That does not mean that I cannot speak to civil society through you, the media, and tell them what a motivated, biased and malevolent government is. Of course she is going.
Can I ask you one final direct question, Dr. Singhvi? One criticism is, why didn't Associate Journals Limited sell off the assets to pay off the loans? They've kept the assets. They acquired these assets for just 50 lakhs. One figure is that these assets are actually worth 2,000 crores. Why didn't they sell it off and just pay off the loan?
Sir, I am assuming that these assets are 10,000 crores. Forget 2,000. 10,000 crores or 2,000 crores or 2 crores. These assets have been for 70 years and as we speak today continue to be owned by AJL, which is an independent separate company. All that has happened is that its debt, large debt, has been converted to equity, making Young India a shareholder. Now, even in a normal commercial situation, it is permitted 100%, but here it is a joke, because Young India is a statutory non-for-profit restricted company which can do nothing. It's an entity created for keeping things as they are, of which the Gandhis, the late lamented Voraji, Mr. Sam Petroda and a few other directors. Now, what is this directors about? Because the legacy of National Herald over 70 years, with the Nehru and the Patel and the Purushottam Lal Tandon and the great freedom struggles and the values they stood for, had to be protected. Young India was Gandhiji's newspaper. They
also own a lot of prime property, sir.
Who owns? AJL.
AJL owns.
AJL continues to own for 70 years. That's the point. Mr. Zafar cannot answer, because there is no answer possible. He's not a magician. Not one property of 1 inch or 1 rupee of one fund has moved from AJL to anybody. These people who are directors of Young India can't even give salary and emoluments to themselves.
Should Rahul Gandhi have declared it in his IT report?
First of all, you just showed your chart. Everything is declared. Who has said it's not declared? Secondly, if it is not declared, it is an IT action. Is it a 2022 ED action? ED, please read the act. Please read section 3. A money laundering has to occur. Unaccounted money has to be projected and used as accounted money by some flow, some trace, some movement.
Let me therefore...
You can't bring IT. At the end of it, Khoda Pahar Nikla Chua, you are talking of IT now.
Can I just... Okay, that's the point with Zafar Islam. Khoda Pahar Nikla Chua. There's a feeling that the process is the punishment in India. Keep the case boiling. These are cases which are Subramaniam Swamy originally filed the petition in 2013. When 2022, the case was within the IT's domain. Abhishek Manu Singhvi is making the point, where does the ED come into this case? Where does money laundering come into this case? And some congressmen are saying that this is the last thing which involves money laundering. You can question on IT, but where's the money laundering here?
There is already a proceeding going on in IT for many years.
See, Rajdeep?
Yes.
See, as far as agency is concerned, it's an independent agency. They have certain leads, certain information. They have asked them to appear. Let them go through this process. whatever information they have, probably I don't have those information and I may not be able to speak about what information they are holding.
Sir, you didn't answer my question though. Why is the information only of opposition leaders?
Let me just
Sir, you have not answered whether it is Shiv Sena in Maharashtra, whether it is Satyendra Jain in Delhi, whether it is now the Gandhis, whether
let me just complete.
ED seems to only find opposition cases. Are we saying, I ask you, that the Karnataka government accused of 40% commission by contractors, no ED is required in Karnataka, no ED is required in any other BJP ruled state?
Rajdeep, you are unnecessarily making allegation that our government is a vindictive government.
I am asking you one instance. Give me one instance of an ED inquiry into a BJP leader.
It is agency which is doing its job. See, it is agency which is discharging its responsibility. Aren't there its job to pursue such cases where they feel there is a corruption, there is a crime committed by somebody? It is their job. They are simply discharging their responsibilities. There is absolutely no interference by the government. Having said that, the allegation which has been made by Mr. Singhvi as well as many other Congress leaders and opposition leaders that we are pursuing vindictively such cases, it is absolutely baseless. Agency is pursuing case based on the evidence they have. We do not have, and it is for them to prove that they are innocent. Court of law is...
sir, but don't you think such cases, sir, my final point to you, don't you think these cases should be pursued with an element of swiftness? Before the 2014 election, you promised that you would put Robert Vadra in jail. We haven't seen that happen. Now you've said that you will get the Gandhis. Subramaniam Swamy 2013 files it, 2015 IT, then no, 1 minute, sir. 2015 they appear on IT, now 2022 you come up with ED. My point is, then the process becomes the punishment. Keep the case lingering on. Resolve it. If they have evidence, convict them, put them in jail. I'm saying put the Gandhis in jail, sir.
Rajdeep, Mr. Singhvi is a very learned lawyer. Ask him whether the government can pronounce judgment or it is the court. Court has to pronounce the judgment.
Okay.
So why you are asking us? We can only pursue, the independent agencies can pursue cases, and it has to be proven in the court of law.
Okay. Therefore, I will ask. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. I want to take. Sir, you make a good point. Let's take that to Dr. Singhvi.
Prove their innocence in the court of law, not in front of the government. We are not pronouncing any judgment.
Dr. Singhvi, the government says we have nothing to do with this. If you are so innocent, have faith in the judiciary. They will ensure that you are let off. Why is the Congress time and again creating in a way this belief that this government is vindictive?
There is a saying in English, Rajdeep, that you can't live life on fictions. It's the biggest fiction that you have this massive mammoth army of agencies like ED, IT, SFIO, CBI. You unleash them, harass every opposition leader, and then you sit back and say, what's the problem? If these are false cases, the courts will protect you. And in the previous sentence, the same Rajdeep Sardesai says the process is the punishment. It's so easy for Rajdeep Sardesai to go to court and get himself acquitted. It's so easy to get bail. It's so easy to solve the problem by approaching the court. What does it matter? I only have agencies. They may do wrong. They may be harassing. But the courts are there. Sir, we know your sentence is the most important, Rajdeep. Process is the punishment. You know the conviction rate is 0.00 something. 99% of these people will come away. But that process is the punishment.
Okay.
The idea of all this is to keep this Damocles sword, to create tension, to go after you, and then say, oh, what does it matter? Let the court solve it. I mean, this is the most, it's the ostrich in the sand kind of a most academic ivory tower argument I've ever heard.